When you start military service, they tell you 10 to 50% of you will not survive. Do you want to become a pilot? Of course I want to become a pilot.
You're cleared for inbound, clear for display.
Welcome to Punch It Unboxed. In this episode we have a special guest and he will prove that age is just a number. He is 75 years old, he fly over 20,000 hours in the sky, 50 years professional pilot, and over 10 years he trained Muay Thai at Punch It Gym. Let's welcome Paul from Switzerland. Before we start with Muay Thai, I want to start with the sky. When you get in touch the first time with flying?
For me it was always an idea, a dream. I was thinking about flying, but I had absolutely no idea about flying because I never saw an aeroplane near. I never had a chance to go to an airport as a child, but the dream was inside. And during my whole school time, I was collecting pictures of airplanes. My colleague was collecting pictures of train, so we exchanged, and that was all. Until I got 16 years old.
How you make the dream to become true? What was the point to say, okay, I want to be a pilot?
During school, we had to write a theme about what you want to become. And I was not the best schoolboy. I wrote about pilot. And then the teacher told me, you will never become a pilot, write something realistic. So I had to do it again, and I wrote something about the teacher, how to become a teacher. It was always in my mind. And when I finished school, I did an apprenticeship. That means I started working 4 years to become an electrician, and this was the time that military ask you if you are interested to become a pilot. You have to announce you with 16 years. Then we can do all the psychological tests, medical tests and everything, and we will find out who has the chance to become a pilot. And so I just did both parallel, and all the tests pre-military went on during 3-4 years, and I could start to learn flying with 17 years because I did all the tests positive. After this 2 weeks of learning flying, you got a chance to do another 2 weeks training 1 year later. And so I arrived with 20, went to the military. As a Swiss, you are obliged to go. And so I had all the positive tests to go as a candidate to become military pilot. I never imagined that I would do it, but I finally
So you
finished.
do it because you want to show your teacher you can do it.
Maybe, yes. And for me it was, you have to take the chance if you see that they offer you a chance. And I just did it. I never expected to finish like this. And so with 20, I had to go to military recruiting school, which is 17 weeks. And the pilot had a special course. Finally, it ended out that you are 2 years in the military school to become a pilot in different courses, and finishing after 2 years to have the grading as a military pilot.
You remember how many joined the first time? How many apply
That was
around?
a selection from out of maybe 3,000 which started the final elections, and of 1 year, born 1951, we were 14.
14 from 3,000, how it feels?
It was definitely a good feeling, but it was also a point which you had to decide what's going on next. You are a pilot, trained in the military,
Yes.
to fly a fighter plane,
Yes.
to do everything what they do. And if you want to become a professional military pilot or not.
So you not have to design this before?
No, I had to decide it when approaching the decision to get the wings.
And at this
Some
time
weeks
you can
before.
already fly
Fine, yeah.
a fighter jet.
Yes.
So there invest actually a lot of time, of money to bring a pilot
bring
to
this
this
point.
point.
Definitely,
And
yes.
you're not even designed to be a professional pilot.
I came to this point after 2 years under military pressure to stop this point and to watch for something else. But as in Switzerland, we have a militia, Air Force and the Army. I have to do every year military service. So you had the chance to become a military pilot as militia. And I did, for the rest of my life in the Air Force, more or less 2 months military service and do another job, if you like. And so I decided I stay as a militia pilot and I want to become a Swiss Air pilot, which is
Commercial
still
flights.
it's a commercial line pilot. And so I had the chance, finishing the course. Some months later, I started the course at the Swiss Air to become a line pilot, which took another year. Usually it was 1.5 years to make the whole school. And as a military pilot, you could finish in 10 and 12 months.
I remember when I drove the first time my own car. How was the feeling you fly first time your own jet?
Many things remain forever. The first big feeling was when you fly with 18 years, no, not even 18, with 17 years, a small aeroplane, solo. On the second week, we got the moment that the instructor said, okay, it's your turn, I leave. And he went out of the airplane and I had to fly around the airport 2 times, solo. And that moment, you will never forget it in your life. That was so special.
The second time, if you get the first time the army jet,
The Army
when
jet,
you start this one the
It's-
first time,
at the Army jet, you had many, many moments which are very special because every flight you learned something new. You had so many things to learn, to train. That means the jet, it's just faster. The airplane is different, looks different. You don't see the wing, depending on the type of airplane you have. So every little thing changed a lot.
in your heart, what was more exciting, to fly a commercial flight or in the army?
Both had a very positive side. To fly a commercial plane, it's more to have contact with a crew, it's more to have contact with even the passenger and so on. That is different. On a commercial plane, you try to make every flight a special occasion to do a total positive job, to have a 100% result at the end. Because every flight is different, even if you do it 100 times the same, each flight is different. The weather changes, the light changes, the people change with everything, the crew is changing. Every flight was special, the whole life.
The heart was more in the commercial.
Not really.
Not really.
That was special for us. Doing
Community.
both, doing both, it's very, very special, which you don't have occasion somewhere in the world like we had to do it the same time. And it's a different job. The Air Force, we have different squadron, and each squadron is a family. What's happened in a squadron goes from top emotions to very worst case, which are deadly. When you start military service, they tell you 10 to 50% of you will not survive. Do you want to become a pilot? Of course I want to become a pilot. I will not be the 15% or 10. You have a lot of danger around and you have to learn a lot, and to learn everything without doing mistakes, it's difficult. And it needs not much, and a little mistake can be a big. Flying at the Air Force was always a challenge.
And risky.
You have to be prepared. You cannot come and then, okay, I'm here, what's going on? No, you have to come prepared. You do
Dangerous
this
job.
1 week, 1 week means 3 flights a day from Monday to Friday, and then you go back home, you do your job civilian, and maybe 2-3 months you come again. And in the military, you had to do every 4 weeks at least 1 day of training flights.
And the pressure is a lot higher, I guess, yeah.
Military flying was all more visual flying, not so much automation. Autopilot we didn't know. Modern pilot, they have autopilot, and this is completely different. The weather in Switzerland is very demanding, changing a lot from one part to the other. We had not so much information about weather as we have today. Nowadays we find everything on the computer. We had to fly and then realize, oh, it's not possible to fly, we have to go back.
You fly always the Hunter, right? Or also the MiG?
I learned on a Vampire,
Vampire?
then on a Venom, and then the Hunter.
The Hunter
Yeah.
is the last one.
That was the last one.
And then they take it out, right?
And in 1994, the Hunter had the last year. And the Hunter, for me, it was the most beautiful aeroplane. I decided I want to keep 2 airplanes. When they scrap it,
So you just call the
I asked-
government and ask, can
I asked to get 2, and they said, oh, no, private, no, only a museum. So I had to do a museum. And so we got the Hunters, and we had some aeroplanes, smaller ones, and we still have this museum flying, but not anymore with Hunter. Until 2021, we stopped.
So, but the museum is to go to watch, not to fly airplanes.
The museum, it's a museum which is a flying museum. Our planes are here to fly
Okay.
and not just to show.
So you get 2 airplanes?
Yep.
You just buy 2 airplanes. How you can buy 2 airplanes?
You need some other crazy guys, and I had a chance with about 3-4 other to realize the idea to have a hangar to put all the airplanes in, and then we did a club for every airplane, and this club has to watch for his airplane to keep it airworthy. And with military jets, we had a double-seater, so we can sell 1 seat for passenger. The idea of flying a military jet, maybe 80% of men have this idea, but even 10-15% of ladies as well. So we could manage to fly these jets for 27 years after they were scrapped out in the Air Force. We took it 27 years, flyable all the time, with the maintenance, everything, under a strict control of the government and everything, in cooperation with the Air Force, because I need the Air Force airport to land over there, because I had more security. On the small airports, I couldn't fly with these military jets. And that was a very difficult job to keep it all running.
And at this time you was 100% doing this, or you had also
No, it
commercial
was-
flights still?
100% at Swiss Air and later Swiss. And I did it all in the free time.
And what's happened now?
The museum is still running on, and we have different aeroplanes, also from the Air Force, from Pilatus P3, which I learned flying at the Air Force, Pilatus PC7, which is more modern, but I have already 2 in the museum, because it's 30 years old as well. And we run the same idea of the museum with all these airplanes. And what we do specially is that enthusiasts like me, we try to bring professionalism to the private pilots who wants to become a aerobatic pilot, to learn aerobatic, to fly in formation. We offer training possibility in the museum, and we have a maintenance to repair all this and keep the airplane. That was something like you did it here 2 gloves starting fighting Muay Thai. You have a company doing everything for Muay Thai.
That's correct, and this is also a good point to move on to the mindset. I think the mindset, if you want to do something like this, is very important. Same as here when we start to build the brand. But I think what I also explained to many for my customers, or they come to ask me, friends, how you build the brand, how you do that. And I say, you need to do it. That's the first point. You need to believe. And second, everything you can do. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so impressive for me when I see you as a pilot, because for me is a pilot also a dream. To be a jet pilot, this is always was my dream to be. And this is, I think, what makes your life or your person so special. And I think that you also can feel that you are one of 3,000 at this age when you started.
I flew air show to my 17th birthday.
17th birthday, so that's another proof. The age is just a number, no?
Yeah.
To make the license, to be a jet pilot, you have to make the same license as the young ones, right?
Yes. I still now do all my medical check at the Air Force. I did all the checks at the Air Force when I flew the Hunter with 70. They had problems to say, we are not used to decide if you can still fly with 70, how do you feel? And so I had to keep myself fit, mentally fit and physically fit. And after 50 years and more of experience of flying, you have such a lot of experience, which is good if you can keep it always running on. Then it's like driving a bicycle.
But physically, it's a little bit harder, I guess, than drive a bicycle. No?
But if you keep it always running like this, it's no problem.
Also with the faster airplanes, acrobatic
Yeah.
airplanes, that's you get used to it
Yes.
with experience.
I still do it now, but not with the jet, but with aerobatic aeroplane. I have trained aerobatic teams, and I still train them. I'm always on board when they fly, which is harder than when you fly itself, because when the G's are coming, you're always a little second too late to feel it when it's coming, the pressure and so on.
That comes the experience. All the racing pilots from the car and everything, they always say nowadays this is like an easy job to drive racing cars. What you feel like if you see the new the airplanes like Eurofighter or all the jets, is that now not the flying as your age before, or?
Difference nowadays is that you have much more possibilities to get a help in the cockpit with all the automation, with all the instruments, and you do much more manage a system. This is in the commercial pilot, the same. Commercial airplanes had before 5-6 crew, and now it's always 2 pilots. Automation makes it possible. Fighter jets nowadays are a new generation with other possibilities, with autopilot and everything, with a pilot in command still on. He can do everything with a special goggle. He can see everything what we have to look around, and sitting worse on the wrong side in the cockpit to see if an enemy is attacking me. This has all changed. We had more the feeling of flying in the back. We say, I could feel if the aeroplane moves a little bit wrong. Now airplanes can do much more. They can steer it with vectors of the tail, which gives new movement. You can see aerobatic airplanes which are extremely doing maneuver, which is for me not normal. I did only normal movements like looping, and so it's normal, but
Yeah.
they can do movement up and then opposite with movement of the engine and steering and everything together. It has changed that a lot.
But you're sometimes sad that you can fly now a jet like this.
I could do incredible, all the things which I could do. I'm total happy. I can say stop. I stopped with jet flying 3 years before. I said with 70 I will stop if I'm still fit to do it.
Yeah.
But then I stop because you have to know when it's time to stop before something happens. Nowadays I still fly. I started now to say my friends I will stop doing air shows because I don't want to finish with one little mistake. And then, no, you cannot do. Well, I want to do. I stop, but I will still train you. I will fly with you every time, but I will not fly as a commander in front, so I stopped. And I'm happy.
You say you had to train, you have to be fit for the test, you have to make the army test. How hard is this test? How you keep yourself fit?
I was always sportive. I did gymnastics, athletics. I played all the basketball and everything. I kept myself always sportive. The best what I can say is not to do something overstressing. Go to a limit, but not over.
I think the last 50 years you flew the airplanes a lot, and one day you decided to become a Muay Thai fighter. No, not a Muay Thai fighter, but how you become to Muay Thai? How you end up in Punjab gym?
It was exactly 10 years ago in February in Koh Samui. I was a passionate windsurfer. I was here in the south of Koh Samui, and the first week, no wind the whole week. I was frustrated, and one guy from the surf shop said, "Come with me, let's go, we make a Muay Thai session." And I said, "Are you crazy? Old man, Muay Thai, it's nothing for me." No, come on, you're sporty and so. Okay, I went with him and we went to a little Muay Thai ring and we did a session with the basic Muay Thai. And I was fascinated from the training, how it is developed, starting with warm-up, with stretching and everything, then with the technique and showing how to work on it. After 2 hours maybe it was, I was so happy, but everything was hard.
So with
And-
65 years you start Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, it was 65, yeah.
And I get every week requests from people with 40, 45. Is that possible to start or not?
Yes,
And I always come up with your story. You will not believe, but we have one guy, he come every year to train here and you keep going. So
Yes.
since 10 years, you was here every year, around 2-3 weeks, right?
yes. The last 10 years I was always in Thailand during the winter time for training myself to be fit. When I in March go home, I have to do medical check and then I want to be fit. That's why I came here. And then I continued with Muay Thai. This helps me a lot because I like it, I love it. Unfortunately, I cannot do it in Switzerland because it's not the same if you go to a Muay Thai gym in Switzerland. It's not the spirit of the real Muay Thai. And you have not the feeling
Outside the heat.
like outside, sweating, but it's warm. It's completely different. So I just come to Thailand to do it, but then 3-4 times a week. And now I say 3 times and the rest is to relax.
I was surprised. I see you always in the fighter class. I'm not surprised about you are not good enough, but I'm surprised in your age, you join the class You go in the hardest class we have. I was like,
No,
how
for
he
me,
come in the fighter class and it's like
the-
full motivated.
the class group, it's what I like. As a fighter pilot, I was a ground attack pilot. We were a family. You do always fly together, 4, 6, 8, 10 aircraft together. Not one fighter. You will not be the fighter pilot 1 versus 1, the dog fight. We play together and then you are good.
That's true.
I have this feeling and I like to have the group together and train, and I like to the fight. I love it as long as they are fair. That motivates me. This is just a lot of fun to do it.
For my view, many young people missed a little bit this community, this train together, help each other. You know, this is a sport, you stay alone in the ring at the end.
Yeah.
And this is what makes the sport also fascinating. Many always ask what is fascinating on Muay Thai. There's this like hurt, they beat each other up, you know, and they ask what is the motivation to make this sport, you know. So I think this is one of the greatest or of the good part you say now, the community to train together.
Yeah.
And how you feel, how they treat you. They treat you like be careful, or they just push you also on the limit.
Usually they are polite because they realize, oh, it's an old man. Then they realize that, hey, he is very quick, and then the fight starts getting always a little bit harder, but always fair. I think the most are surprised because the reaction is still quite good, which I had always. For flying, it's always good to have good reaction and to see everything.
That's the key in the ring, yes. Reaction, mindset, and I think this is a good, or actually the most important thing in the ring. So you need the correct mindset.
Yeah.
It's not just training, and you need to be ready when it's counted. And I think, especially for you with your experience, that is exactly the sport. I think it fits for a pilot.
Yeah, it is fascinating, this sport, and all the teachers, they can bring you to the limit, and they do it well. They want that I go to the point to say I need a break.
If you can give someone from our community, this is around 25 to 35-year-old, what you can give them for advice for the life?
Go for your dream. It doesn't matter what it is. Every dream has to be waken up. Doesn't matter what it is. It's usually a long, hard work, but you have to stay on it. Nothing is for free. Sacrifice needs everywhere in life, and you have to accept it.
This was an absolutely great story. I hope we can inspire a lot more people to try Muay Thai, to try to come to train here.
I'm happy to hear it, thank you. I realized all the colleagues in the ring, when they come, it comes to the moment where they ask me, how old are you? I'm getting 75, yes. And they all say, I want to become like you. I said, okay, you're on the best way, because you did not start with 65 like me. You are still with 35 and full power. Continue.
Me
Never
too.
give up.
I hope I also, with 75, I can be in your position. That's my dream life.
And I hope to come for the next 10 years to see you.
Always welcome. One thing what I see, since 10 years you have the same short. That was the first Muay Thai short we make. So I make you a new one that you have a special Muay Thai short. It's only one for you. And I hope you like it.
Hey, now.
This is a small gift for your effort and your inspiration you give to us. I hope I choose the right
Thank
airplane.
you so much. Yeah. My favorite one.
Was not that easy to find out is that the correct one or not.
Yes, it is.
And
Hey.
your nickname for
Yeah,
pilot.
nickname.
How you become the name of
Nickname.
Chappe?
In Recruitenschule,
Yes.
we were 2 Paul. And if you have a group of 14 military pilot trainee, when somebody is calling Paul, but 2 were running. And I had an expression. I said, everybody, hey, you're a Chappe. Had nothing to say, but it was a word. And so one said, this is Pauli and this is Chappe. And in Air Force, everybody knows me as Chappe, even in Swiss.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast and we proved the age is just a number. What you think about his story, leave a comment now, subscribe the channel, be a part of our community and see you in the next video.
We came to fight.